What's up, guys? Today we are discussing UFC 315, Muhammad versus JDM in Montreal, Canada. Now, Canadian cards famously are always weak and under-deliver, so we're going to go ahead and fly through this one. Starting with Brad Katona versus Bekzad Almakhan. He's the Kazakhstani fighter. He's been on a hell of a streak up until he fought Umar. I think he should have this one easily. Brad Katona, he's a good fighter. He came off the Contender Series, I believe, a while back. I don't know. I think Almakhan has fought stronger competition. Losing a UD to Umar is nothing to slouch at. I would take Bekzad here. He is the favorite, if I recall. Yeah, minus 185. I actually think those odds are pretty good. I think it will look like a close bout, but I think at a pretty high clip, Almakhan wins this one. Next is Daniel Santos, Mini Oliveira versus Zhang Yang Lee. Now, I do like Lee. I think these odds are crazy. I think Daniel Santos is the more technical fighter. I think, unless Zhang Yang Lee just lays and prays the whole, card, which, as we go through this card, we're going to see how much of that's going on in Canada. Canadians famously, they don't fight at all. So, not that Zhang Yang is Canadian, but that's kind of the aura that will be there in the arena that night. So that does worry me because Daniel Santos tends to just accept bottom position too much for my liking. But at even odds, I would certainly roll the dice on Daniel Santos here. You can even get him at plus money at Caesars. Yeah, I would go with Daniel Santos. I think he's the more polished striker, and I think, hopefully, for all of our sake, this will stay a standing fight. We don't want to watch just lay and pray for this. All right, next one is Marc-Andre Barriault versus Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva has had a legendary downfall. I mean, this guy went to war with Pereira to a streak of just losses, if I remember correctly. Yeah, holy shit. 4 in a row. He got the eye poke situation with Chris Weidman. Marc-Andre Barriault, he's a marauder. I mean, he's just going to throw his chin in the air and have you punch it until, you break your fist. They're both coming off a loss. I don't really like this fight, to be honest. This fight is a pass. This is like a weak fight. I would probably go with Marc-Andre because he's not quitting. Bruno Silva quit with the eye pokes. You hate to see that when fighters are just giving up, especially to 48-year-old with the cane, Chris Weidman. You never like to see that. I'm going to roll with Marc-Andre Barriault here. He's the favorite. That makes sense to me. We're going to go with MAB here. Okay, that's the end of the early prelims. Okay. Now getting to Navajo Sterling versus Ivan Urslan. Everybody's hype on Navajo Sterling. I really don't see it. I don't know. I see a guy that gasses out. I think he gets stuck in positions against the cage. He's obviously very young and still maturing in his career. But I don't know. I don't think he has that it factor for me. And Ivan Urslan, he's got the experience. The odds for this fight are... Yeah, plus 250 for Urslan. I don't know. I think Navajo will win this fight, but I sense a fraud check coming for him definitely soon. He trains with CKB with Adesanya and the boys in New Zealand, so he has the pedigree. But I don't know. I'm not really sold on him as a prospect. I kind of like Ivan at plus 250. It was that was pretty good. I think that's worth a flyer. He lost a split to Ion Cutelaba. That's not great. I mean, he kind of has a rocky series here, losing fights on the regional scene. That's not great either. But I don't know. This fight, I wouldn't bet in a parlay piece Navajo Sterling or anything. I think he'll probably win, but I don't like that money. I think that's skewed. So probably dog or pass here, Ivan Urslan. Modestas Bukauskas versus Ion Cutelaba. Speak of the devil. Ion Cutelaba, legendary chin. This guy, hit him with a crowbar like Chuck back in the day. It's impossible to knock him out. Break your hand sooner. versus Modestas Bukauskas. Bukauskas is a good fighter. This being a pick'em is just disgraceful. This fight is gross. I don't really like action on this one either. Um, yeah, this one's probably a pass for me, but I would roll with Bukauskas, Yanku Della. It's crazy. This guy's only 31. He's been in war after war. Um, Crazy knockdown average, these guys. Yeah, I would go ahead and roll with Modestas Bukauskas. I don't really like this for Ian here. The next one is Jessica Andrade versus Jasmine Jasuda Vicious. Jasmine Jasuda Vicious, she's a big old bitch, man. I mean, this girl, she's huge for the weight class, women's flyweight, and she's fighting 48-year-old Jessica Andrade. Jessica was a great fighter in her time, but that time has passed. It's Jasmine's time now. She's 13-3. She's on a win streak, I believe. I think Jasmine rolls here. I don't really think she's too big also to like really get cracked by Jessica's power, which is how she wins fights. Um, yeah, she's on a 4-fight win streak. I think she even could get a submission here on Andrade. I don't know. Andrade, I believe, is a black belt. She has good BJJ, but I think Jasmine rolls here at a pretty high clip. I don't think Andrade has anything for it. Now, Andrade is like, how old is she now? She's 33. That's hilarious. Thought she was way older. She fights like an old woman. I don't think she has anything outside of like the first, round and a half. I'm rolling with Jasmine here all day long. I got to be honest. So minus 290. I don't know if you want to put that in a parlay or whatever that is. I'm pretty confident in that one. Charles Radke, the legend, versus Mike Malott. Now, we absolutely need Charles to pull this one through in Canada, say some completely out of bounds shit, get arrested, become a legend, become an icon. I am rolling with Charles Radke here all night long. I think Mike Malott, I really don't understand how this guy's 11-2. You watch him fight and you go, what? Huh? Who'd he fight? Who'd he beat? This guy beats plumbers professionally. I don't think he's that good. I don't know how he's 11-2. Beat Trevin Giles. He lost to Neil Magny in 2024. 37. Yeah, Mike Malott's a fucking bum. The odds here, I believe Charles is like the slight underdog. You gotta roll. How do you not take Charles Radke here? Charles Radke. Oh my god, if he gets that mic, this is gonna be fucking crazy. Oh boy. It's Charles Radke all day long. I don't care. Oh, money's coming in on Mike Mullet. That's crazy work. Unless he gets the Canadian, home field advantage call. But they're not really like that. I don't think so. They're not. It's not Paris we're talking about. French Commission. You got to take Radke here. How do you not take Charles Radke in this spot? Radke all day long. End of the prelims. On to the main card. Benoit Saint Denis versus Kyle Prepelic. Kyle. Lucky you, Kyle. Yeah, this fight, this guy's just being sacrificed. Benoit, everybody loves to hate on Benoit just because he's a marauder, I guess. I don't know. He's like special forces. The guy's kind of sick, low-key. But, yeah, he's just being fed a freebie here to, like, get back on the winning track. It's BSD. I don't think this guy has much of a chance. 12-7, and you're going to go fight a guy that fought Dustin Poirier? I don't think so. And then he got finished by Moicano. That was disgusting. This guy doesn't have a chance. He's Canadian. He's going to quit. He's 12-7. You might as well make that an 8. Benoit all day long. Do not bet on this fight. Minus 1,000 is absolutely absurd. He could get injured. This is a pass. Pass all day long. I wouldn't even take over-under because with fighters coming back after brutal KO, TKO. It's what's crazy about BSD is he started putting it together on Moicano with, blood gushing out of his fucking face, his forehead, I believe the cut was at, or maybe the top of his head. That was gross. Yeah, BSD rolls here, but not at minus 1,000. I would not take a flyer on the plus 650 though. All right, Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. Boy, is this one a hardcore delight. This is a fucking banger right here. Alexa Grasso, no technique at all, makes it to the top, fights for world titles. How do you not love Alexa Grasso? Whereas Natalia Silva, she is. Yeah, these odds are interesting. I don't hate a flyer on Grasso here at like plus 180. Yeah, if you're getting her plus 215, you gotta take Alexa Grasso at plus 215. Caesars has some good odds for this card. Um, I think she'll be fine in the grappling. Uh, Striking, she has that Jessica Pena, just kind of marauder style, just wing overhands. I like Grasso here for the money. Natalia Silva, she's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but I just, yeah, she's not even attempting takedowns. Yeah, I'm taking Alexa Grasso here on a flyer for the money. Jose Aldo, the King of Rio, soon to be the King of Canada, King of Montreal or Quebec, or I don't know what the fuck Canada is. Jose Aldo is 37, or he's 38, and he's fighting Ayman Zahabi, who's 37. Oh boy, get your fucking canes out for this one. Get your popcorn. Jose Aldo, everybody's on Aldo. His fight against Mario Bautista, obviously, who's the GOAT, who's the reason we are Fence Hug MMA here. You run into an all-time great like Mario Bautista. What's a guy supposed to do? You will be hugged against that fence for 15 or 25 minutes straight. That's just how it goes. Ayman Zahabi, I don't think he's that guy. He's not on the Mount Rushmore, with the John Jones, the GSPs, the DJs, the Bautistas. He's not at that level. I don't, he'll probably try, but all those legendary TDD is going to show here. 14% takedown accuracy. No fucking way. This is Aldo all day long. Strikes landed per minute. Zahabi has a little bit higher output. I think he's going to get clipped. I don't think it's going to go well for him. Aldo all day long. Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Farah. Now, I've seen all these takes all across YouTube, all across everywhere, Twitter and the like, talking about Valentina Shevchenko is going to piece Farah up on the feet. Farah sucks. She has no striking. I don't understand it. I think Farah is a good fighter. People completely discount the fight against Rose Namajunas, saying that, Rose is washed, Rose a bum, whatever. Rose is incredibly skilled on the feet. For good reason, people call her gun shy, but she's not, untalented on the feet. That's fucking crazy. She has debatably the best head kick in, UFC history against the GOAT, China woman. But she's a great striker, and Manon Farah took it to her on the feet. She was way bigger, obviously, but she's skilled. Where I think she loses this fight, Manon, is with the grappling. I think she has good get-ups. She can turn a situation, where she's caught down there and get back up pretty easily, pretty well. She's good at that. However, I think Valentina is really she was going from throwing spinning heel kicks, and now she is Bilal Muhammad on the Bilal card. I think the setup for this card is going to be a lot of lay and pray, and I think that's where this fight's going to go. I think Valentina you can get her at plus 120. It's looking like at Betway. I don't know what, well, around plus 120. I think Valentina by decision, maybe even a sub here. I don't know. I think the disrespect about Farah, I think on the feet, Farah can absolutely hang with Valentina. Women's flyweight, how many times do you see, knockouts from punches? I don't really like to rely on that. I think in a fight like this where one side has the clear grappling advantage and the championship pedigree and all that, granted she is getting way older. Valentina's got to be she's got to be almost 40. 37. Yeah, I don't like that. She won that last fight. That last fight was disgusting. Well, against Alexa. God, that fight was horrific. Yeah, this is a tough one to pick, man, for the money. I would take Farah as an underdog, which as the favorite, this might be a pass. I would probably tend to go over here because that's the freest money, every time, although I think a submission's live for Valentina. It's kind of a question. This seems like a good fight to live bet, because it seems like if Valentina's getting the grappling going, then you go with her. If she seems stiff and old and all that, then I think Manon Farah is completely live here. Manon maybe if Valentina gets a takedown in the first round and takes the round on the scorecards clearly, but she kind of like really struggles to get her down. I would probably live bet Ferro, honestly, if, like the odds shift, and then Ferro is like a plus 200. She drops round one by getting smudged, fence hugged. I would live bet Ferro in that situation. But if Valentina's getting trips, takedowns, ending up on top, Ferro has no get ups, I would hit the favorite or pass. It's kind of a question of the grappling. So final prediction for this one. Shevchenko does have more ways to win. I guess I would take her as the underdog, but major but this fight is completely variable depending on which Valentina shows up. It's a live bet or pass for me, likely in all likelihood. You would have to look at submission props as well if you're getting like plus 400, I think, or beyond that. That's live. One of the greatest fence huggers, Belal. Remember the name Muhammad. Look at this fucking guy. He is gonna go in there and put on a masterclass. I'm calling it right now. Everybody's rallying around JDM. But guess what, guys? If you watch MMA for a period of time, you know that the good guys, the fun fighters, don't win. That's not how this fucking thing works. Bilal's gonna go in there. I can't believe I was looking back at the scorecards for the Leon fight. I remember watching that live. I can't fucking believe that was a 48-47. That was 49-46. One judge had it right. The fact that two judges had that 48-47 was gross. Belal is a complete dominator. He's 36. He's not too old. I think that stat about, fighters are like 2-36, 2-35 under in the smaller weight class. I think it's under 170. I don't know. Belal fucking dominated Leon in that last fight. I remember being at a bar watching it with buddies. Like that wasn't even close. That was a 49-46. I don't know how they scored that 48-47. In a place like Canada where they love sitting around doing nothing, you know what I mean, igloos and that shit, they're going to absolutely eat up Belal Muhammad. I think JDM is a talented fighter. People write off his last fight because of the broken arm. I tend to agree with that. That's a wash, but at the same time, Gilbert Burns is not the Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns in 2024 is not the Gilbert Burns that fought Khamzat in 2021, I believe. This is a completely different situation. I think you have to put away Gilbert Burns now, and he couldn't do it. I don't exactly recall when he snapped his arm, but I don't know. JDM, he fights like one time a year. He doesn't have the cage time that Belal has, and boy, does Belal have a lot of cage time, no finishes. Remember the decision. I think Belal is going to free Palestine his way all the way to a dub here. I don't think that. I don't know. I really don't get it. People are saying JDM is going to like piece him up on the feet. Belal hasn't really gotten knocked down since he got KO'd versus Vicente Luque. I think Belal rolls here, man. I really don't understand it. I was seeing odds of him at like minus 185. Money a lot. So JDM opened at like plus 245. That was crazy. That was a good line to get on. But minus 185, if you can get that for Belal, I think that's money all day long. Unless JDM gets injured, I don't see him being finished. So if you can get like a Belal decision plus 150, I think that's fucking great money, man. I really do. I think I really don't get it. What's JDM going to do? Kick his legs out? He ain't going to do that. He's a boxer. He's a good boxer. People call him best boxer in the UFC. I don't see it, bro. I really don't. I think Belal, remember the decision, Muhammad is going to win, and it's going to fuck up Islam's plans, but it's going to force Islam to fight Topuria. Topuria is fighting on International Fight Week, I believe they announced that, and he's likely going to fight Oliveira, it's seeming, even though they're trying to make the Islam fight. Bilal's going to win. Islam ain't going to move up for that reason. Unless Belal wins and he goes to fight Dreykus or Khamzat, we'll get to that one, but I don't know, man. I think Khamzat might eat Belal alive. But anyway, that's a topic for another video. I think in this fight, man, I think it's Belal. I think we're gonna watch him nut hug for 25 minutes, and the people are just going to have to deal with it, all right? All you fucking whiners out there being like, Bilal, Bilal, fuck Bilal, he's no fun. Bilal is the most fucking fun fighter in the UFC. What's more fun than sitting around drinking 9 beers by yourself and just watching, dudes lay on top of each other? Pause. Bilal's going to win this one. Remember when I said it? Last week I didn't make a video, but I did hit Rainer de Ritter. If you know, you know. Remember the decision. Goodbye.